Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. As this morning, your host Travon Smith over here, Turf Talk 101. It's the first of our high school editions. Throughout periodically, we've been checking in with some college guys that we have relationships with. We'll start the kickoff of our high schools. So if you feel like you have what it takes, tap in like this young man. I met him. I actually met him on the field doing a pregame warm up. I like his style. I like the way he holds himself as a leader. He didn't know who I was or what I was representing or anything, and he came and introduced himself. It's the one and only Dame Dash. How you doing, man?
Good, good, good. How are you?
Man, I'm hanging in there. I don't even know if you know who Dame Dash is. That's Rockefeller with Jay-Z. But go ahead and give everybody your introduction about who you are, what school you're at, what year you are, what position you play, and whatever you feel like talking about.
I'm Damian Miller. I go to Yucaipa High School. I'm going in my senior year. I start cornerback and I'm transitioning also into wide receiver and second team CBL. Yeah.
Yeah, baller. I seen you. You're definitely a baller. You definitely have that right mentality. Let's talk a little bit about your football. Going from because you was a junior last year, and I met you as a junior. From what I could see, you're well spoken. You speak up. You're a team leader. Is that something that the coaches expect out of you from your sophomore year to your junior year? Because or is it something more natural that you guys get from your parents, uncles, or whatnot?
It was more of kind of like a natural thing, coming in my junior year. I didn't really play much varsity as a sophomore, so coming in my junior year, I kind of going made myself like well spoken and heard and make sure like my teammates know that I'm there for them and kind of be a leader for them, even though I'm not like I was new to varsity, but I still want to make sure like I was reliable to them.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people have a misconception that confident kids or good kids are always loud, and you don't
Yeah,
have to be loud. But
no.
I do know certain coaches expect, like, hey, if you see something not going on wrong, speak up for that, and just be responsible for your group or help the defense out. Is that kind of where you're at with it?
Yeah, we're just a big communication team on the field, especially being the DBs. Like corners and safeties, we're always talking. We're always speaking with outside linebackers, always just yeah, big communication is key on our team. So
I want to circle back to some of that later on, but let's talk about your sophomore year to your junior year. Now, you said sophomore year you wasn't on the varsity that much, and then junior year you kind of balled out a little bit. You got on some special teams. You're a tackling machine. Talk a little bit about the transition physically and mentally.
um sophomore year, I came up short. I ended up breaking my hand.
Oh,
So yeah, coming into my junior year is kind of just like, being heard. Like I came in like, all right, like this is my spot, like this is what like I came here to like grab it, and it was definitely a change, but I just rolled with the dices and it ended up working out well. But yeah, it was a huge transition from JV to varsity, but I felt like I dealt with it pretty well, and yeah.
okay. Now talk about some of the things that you played DB as a sophomore, correct?
Correct, on JV,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, talk a little bit about something like your visions and your reads that maybe as a sophomore you weren't that good with, but you got better with as a junior. And how'd you get better as it?
Um, well, varsity was a lot way more fast paced than JV ever was, so that
Oh,
was a huge jump. And honestly, just really locking in during off season and really like understanding like for DB a lot it's hips, like watching hips, watching 2-1, reading inside out, and really just making that my main focus during off season to make sure that wasn't something I was lacking because that was what I was lacking. It was just I was just a little slower to
yeah.
like the movement. So just making sure I locked in with that and was consistent with that was my biggest priority.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your junior year. I know you guys were 7-4, correct?
Correct.
2-3 in league. Talk a little bit about the experience of, 7-4. That's a pretty good record. but the 2 and 3 in the league. What's some things that you guys notice that you guys are working on for this year to get better, or some things the coach has emphasized as far as what we need to do as more of a team in order to get to where we need to get?
Huge mentality factor, coming in saying I can't or what ifs. That was huge last year. Kind of just doubting yourself before even trying. So that was kind of a big thing in league. We just questioned, like, doubted ourselves a lot. We came in like what ifs, and this year, we're us senior or us soon to be seniors are making sure that, like, that's not in our vocab this year. We're not going to speak of that. Like, we're coming into every game like I can. These guys are the same as us. They're no different. Like, we all practice the same. We all do go through Hell Week. So that's our biggest focus this year, is making sure that we all have a good mentality going into season and going into games.
Okay. Let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about your focus for this year. What's some expectations you have out of yourself out of this year?
Um, Shoot, hopefully just get as much playing time and just film as possible so I can email coaches. I want to go to college, so just being consistent, working really hard this off season, getting my weight up, getting my maxes up, and hopefully just continue to keep improving and then transition that into season and fall out.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Like I said, I want to go back and talk a little bit because I love picking you guys' brain because you guys are so much more well advanced than as maybe, what I'm saying, as parents. And I grew up because we were just out there, we just play football like contact. But now I want to talk a little bit about when you said go out there and you communicate. What's some things that you communicate with your linebackers, your outside linebackers? What's some things you communicate the call, not specifics, like calls from the coaches. What are you looking for? Whether it's a spread or power, or or does that translate from through the week from film?
Film is huge with us. Our coaches make it mandatory for us to watch and grade film. So film is huge for us. And you know, just communication with literally any movement on the line, with the receiver core, quarterback, running back, any type that's like on our side, even if it's going away from us, away to the strong side, because I'm on the field side. So even if it's going away from us, still communicating, yelling it over to the other side of the DBs and the linebackers, just um, literally just any movement we see, we just have to communicate it and make sure everybody's on the same page, because that's when we do our best, is when everybody's on the same page, not when we're all like, all right, what'd you say? What'd you say? Like, we always do our best to make sure we're on the same page. And yeah.
Okay. Hey man, I appreciate you for checking in with us. Good luck to you and Yucaipa High School. It's my main Damian Miller, cornerback, Yucaipa, going into his senior year. Hey, we appreciate you for hanging out with us and checking out with us on Turf Talk 101.
Hey man, I appreciate you for having me.
No problem, man. Have a good day, and I'll check in with you through the season.
Sounds good.
All right, boss. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. You too.